Welcome on into the Wolverine basketball show. Clayton Sayfie here with you live from Ann Arbor. It's 1:24 a.m. Eastern Time. Michigan basketball picks up a 94-54 win over San Diego State to open up the Players Era Festival out in Las Vegas. And we're rolling. It's the middle of the night, damn near, and we got Maryland against UNLV on the TV over here in my office as we record the show here, but delighted to be with you. To break this one down, which was a really fun watch for those of you that stayed up for Michigan's win over Brian Dutcher, former Michigan assistant coach under Steve Fisher in 1989 to 1998, won the national title there in 89 with T. Mills, who was on the radio call, but over his San Diego State Aztecs. And those of you who didn't stay up, I hope you're on your way to work right now, and maybe you caught some of the highlights this morning because it was really fun. This might be one that if you have DVR'd, you check out after work if you have time on such a busy holiday week. But just a blowout win for Michigan. They lead by 12 at halftime, 45-33, and then they turn it on in the second half, and defense was really the story. So we'll get into it here. Make sure to head over to the Wolverine.com. We got 5 takeaways up. We got other content up over from Anthony Broom and Chris Ballas as well at the Wolverine.com. You can join us, premium access over there, $1 for your first week. Perfect week to get in because it's Ohio State week on the football side, and we got some big basketball games here this weekend. Michigan will take on Auburn 8:30 tonight, Tuesday night, out in Las Vegas. And it's kind of a decent place to start. Like, this was such a blowout in the second half that midway through the half, you had Beat Ohio chants from the Michigan fans that were in attendance at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas. You did not expect it to go necessarily that way. Michigan entered the game 7.5-point favorite on at Vegas line, and it got down to 5.5 on some services, and it was just a domination in the second half. And I want to start with the defense, and this is a trend. It's something we've talked about on this show a lot after all these games, but the shot quality for Michigan's opponents is extremely inefficient. And San Diego State comes in as a team that shoots a lot of mid-range shots anyway. And Dusty May said on his pregame radio show, the keys to this game are not giving them anything easy, anything at the rim or open threes. Michigan did not give them many open looks. There were a few open threes, but pretty much shut the water off on all those things. And he wanted to contest the mid-range shots because there were going to be a lot of them. San Diego State's good at it, but if you know anything about the way Dusty May sees the game of basketball, they're going to live with some of those looks. And Michigan contested the overwhelming majority of those. They didn't give them anything at the rim. And like we said, a few open threes, but other than that, San Diego State finishes 7 of 23 from three-point range, 30%. You will live with that every day of the week, considering you did absolute work on the glass. You did absolute work protecting the rim. And an unbelievable stat that I uncovered after the game, and I put it in my 5 takeaways article over at thewolverine.com, is that San Diego State shot 25.6% on 2-point shots, 7 of 28 on other twos, not at the rim, 2-point shots, which is what Michigan wants to force its opponents into. They took 28 of them, only made 7, right? 25%. And that is a near complete effort on the defensive end, Dusty May said in his post-game press conference. But here's where the stat comes in, where it's incredible. That's the lowest 2-point field goal percentage allowed by Michigan since December 2nd, 2006. Wofford was the opponent that day. They shot 23.1% from 2, but that is nearly 20 years ago. That is a week after the infamous, around here, Michigan-Ohio State game in 2006, and still think, Michigan maybe could have got a rematch there. Ohio State plays Florida in the title game. Florida wins, but either way, that was a long time ago now, even if 2006 doesn't sound that long ago. So that speaks to the defensive effort. Lauren Jabara, the sideline reporter for True TV tonight, who is a Michigan graduate and did a really good job. 6 months pregnant, 4th game of the day. Shout out to her. But she had the great comment after the game that Michigan was defending with the intensity like they were up 4 when they were up 40. And yes, Michigan did lead by 42 points in this game. It ends up being a 40-point ball game. So just that consistent effort throughout the night, make or miss on one, on the offensive end, they were coming down and guarding. I thought it was more disciplined. There were a couple miscommunications on switches early in the game, but other than that, you saw a really good performance. You're switching pretty much everything when you are switching everything other than when Adai Mara is in the action. You keep him as the anchor down low, and that is why the other incredible stat comes into play. San Diego State shoots 3 of 11 on layups and dunks. Conversely, Michigan, 16 of 24 on layups/dunks. So you have more than double their attempts. You have 16 makes at the rim compared to their 3. And really no team's going to win a game making 3 shots at the rim unless you hit 15 threes or something like that. And even then, it might not be enough because the rest of your looks are other twos. Maybe you get to the free throw line. But it is what it is. Michigan goes 15 to 22 at the free throw line. They make 15 free throws. San Diego State made 17 field goals. So any way you slice it, this was a complete punking. This was a complete domination of a team that does a lot of punking in the Mountain West, that is able to punk teams around the country too, and is a team that Dusty May has a lot of respect for because they are so consistently good year in and year out. So I just wanted to lead with that. I thought the defense was incredible. Dusty said after the game that he felt like, and the staff felt like, a performance like this could be coming. And it kind of reminded you a little bit of some of these San Diego State games. And I have to go back and look exactly if it was mostly under Steve Fisher, I would imagine, but also under Brian Dutcher at times when they bow out of the NCAA tournament against a good team. It's just brick after brick. And they shot 27% from the field in this game. They go for 0.71 points per possession compared to Michigan's 1.24. So the defensive effort gets the really the kudos right out of the gate here in the show. Let's talk about the format of this tournament a little bit, which is very confusing. So point differential comes into play. It's capped at 20 points per game. Michigan hits that mark. Michigan is one of 2 teams to hit that today. Tennessee did so, also winning by over 20 points. So it's capped at 20. So those 2 teams right now have the leg up to make the championship game on Wednesday, or at least the 3rd, 4th place game. So Michigan's sitting in a pretty good spot in this tournament. Tennessee won 85-60 over Rutgers earlier. Was a non-competitive game. They have Houston tomorrow, so a big challenge for them. And Houston beat Syracuse in overtime today by just 4, so their differential not looking that good. Michigan will have Auburn, not as much of a test probably as Houston, but Auburn's a team with an 11-point win. They certainly have a chance to do whatever they want to do in this tournament. It's a 16-team field. A lot of teams have a shot, but none better than Michigan and Tennessee at this point. And really, I would say Michigan, because Auburn's not quite the team that Houston is. So that would be a Wednesday night game. Pretty much with this 20-point win, you've avoided playing on Thursday. There'll just be 2 games, I believe, on Thursday. It'll be the bottom 4 teams in this tournament. So kind of a confusing format. I don't fully understand it. They haven't released all the different options of the tip times for Wednesday and Thursday yet, other than the championship game, 3rd and 4th place. Those will both be in the evening. But either way, Michigan in a good spot and picking up a quality win. When you look at what Michigan was on KenPom coming into the day, they were 15th in the country. Now they sit at 5th in the country. KenPom loves when you blow out quality opponents. San Diego State goes from 42nd to 57th with the loss, but still top 60 team. And when you can beat one of those by 40 points, that's a huge victory. Michigan has not done a lot of that under Dusty May. They've won a ton of close games. So to see them shoot up 10 spots, especially past teams that are really efficient early on in the season, they bake in some preseason efficiency stuff too. It is big because that, seeding, that impacts seeding and everything else. It's early in the year, but a huge win for Michigan in a lot of different ways, including in this MTE, but also for potential NCAA tournament seeding. In San Diego State, right? They came into the year 30th in KenPom. They were picked to win the Mountain West. They'll probably still win the Mountain West. There's some talent on that team. Magoon Guaf, their center, 7-footer who was in the portal, decided to come back. Michigan, Kentucky, others courted him. He is still coming back. This is only his 2nd game back from having a serious knee surgery 7 months ago. He had 7 points, 2 of 8 shooting on the night in 20 minutes. But let's move on to Michigan. And I thought it was a really crisp offensive performance to move to that side of the floor. 1.24 points per possession. Michigan shoots 65.7% on twos, 11 of 33 on threes. A couple of those came late in the game, but beastly on the offensive glass, dominating that. 40.5% of its missed shots were corralled by Michigan. And the 1.24 points per possession, second most in a game this season, behind 1.54 in the opener against Oakland. So I just thought coming right out of the gate, Michigan was really intentional offensively. They're whipping the ball around. They're playing through Yaxel Lendeborg. He would kind of turn it on, get aggressive when he needed to. And then somebody else would make some plays as well. And then they'd come back to him, and he had a big and one along the baseline. And he just looks more confident, more comfortable. Michigan came back out with its big lineup: Elliot Cadeau, Namari Burnett, Yaxel Lendeborg, Merez Johnson Jr., and Adai Mara, or Mata, as Brian Anderson, the play-by-play voice, was calling him all night long, trying to get his Spanish in there. Kudos with his Spanish teacher. But they started with that lineup, and it looked pretty good. There were a bunch of different combinations throughout. Most of the time, of course, you're going to be playing with just two of those bigs, but they did start with three of them. Roddy Gale earned Ken Pom MVP honors in this game. He was awesome. Just all the different ways he's impacting the game. I think we talked about it after one of the last couple games. He's impacting games without having to even shoot jump shots. He was going to make one, but Michigan had an off-the-ball offensive foul, so the whistle negated it. He drilled the shot, but I don't think he attempted any other jump shots in this game. And he goes, 5 of 6 on twos, one of them from the free throw line, ripped down 4 defensive rebounds, dished out 2 assists, was active all over the place. Maybe one of my favorite plays of the game. There was a behind-the-back pass by Adai Mara for Merez Johnson that got him a layup, but also Merez Johnson just so active up top, deflects a pass. It's a loose ball. Roddy Gale tracks it down, scoop and score for the dunk, two-handed slam on the other end. Those two, Merez Johnson and Roddy Gale, their energy is infectious. Their energy creates opportunities for Michigan, like that one in transition. But I thought Roddy Gale was really good. Merez Johnson, so active on the defensive end, and same with Adai Mara. His presence at the rim, he had 8 rebounds. Merez Johnson was 6. I thought that both of those guys were really good. They both turned it over a couple times. Merez Johnson dribbled a little bit too much a couple times. One time he had it down low, and he got a 5-second call on him. No one really came to help him out, so I think that was partly on his teammates. Elliot Cadeau could have came over a little bit more, but impressed by what the big guys did. Yaxel finishes with a game-high 15 as well, so throw him in that bucket. He hit 2 threes from the corner, looked confident with the jumper, had 4 assists, starting to run more things through him, and it's paid off for Michigan. Trey McKinney, a little bit of an off-night shooting, but hit a couple threes late. That'll boost his confidence. Elliot Cadeau goes 13 points, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 5 from three-point land, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Rolled both of his ankles on a three-pointer early in the game, picked up his second foul with 8 minutes to go in the first half, picked up his third really early in the second half. So it was kind of a choppy game for him early on. And then he started to hit jumpers. He banged in a mid-range shot. He hit a couple threes, got his confidence going. And so that was kind of good to see. That the storyline in terms of negatives in this game is they're still searching for that backup point guard. LJ Kaysen with a really, really rough night, decision-making wise, ball handling wise, had a couple turnovers, had a couple dumb fouls, had a couple missed free throws, had a bunch of missed open jump shots. Honestly, some of his mistakes late in the first half was the reason why Michigan was only up 12 and not 20. So they still need to figure some things out and what that's going to look like when Cadeau comes off the floor, when he has a couple fouls or he rolls an ankle or whatever it is. Who's going to be the guy to step up? Could it be Roddy Gale in his assertive role? I mean, Roddy, I didn't even mention the 2 coast-to-coast layups he has. No one stops the ball. Seems to be able to happen to him more than any player I remember watching. And he's playing smarter this year. He also, I just laughed thinking about the play where he kind of caught the ball on the sideline. He's leaning like he's about to fall out of bounds, calls timeout as he's nearly falling out of bounds. Last year, he definitely steps out, falls out of bounds, whatever it is. He's more under control this year. You have no complaints about Roddy Gale through 5 games now. for Michigan. And we're getting back to him, but just the more and more you think about it, that was an impressive performance. Roddy Gale has taken 7 threes this year. He's 2 of 7. Took 82 last season, 23.2%. He's 17 of 27 on twos, and he's 13 of 16 from the free throw line. So 2 of 7 from 3, not shooting many jumpers, yet impacting the game in really magnificent ways, night in and night out. Late in the game, Michigan keeps its margin of victory really high because they emptied the bench. We saw Malik Cordell. We saw Oscar Goodman in there. Who am I missing? I mean, LJ was in there with those guys. Trey McKinney was in there with those guys. Will Cheddar, by the way, didn't mention him, hit a couple threes early, had an and one, missed the free throw, but he was active. That's exactly what you need out of Will Cheddar. Changed the game with a couple made jump shots. So that was really big to see. But Michigan played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players in this game. Nobody went over the 26 minutes that Axel Lendeborg played. So should have some fresh legs for tomorrow's game against Auburn. Gonna play Wednesday, most likely. It's looking like 95%. Gonna hopefully pay off that they didn't have guys go 35 minutes or whatever it was going to be in this game. So a big win for Michigan. This is a huge week for the Wolverines to figure out what they are and to get the 40-point win over San Diego State. Revenge for Dusty May and the staff members from FAU. They lost to San Diego State in the Final Four in 2023. Now it's time for revenge against Auburn, which sent Michigan home in the Sweet 16 last year. So that game will be tonight. My preview, if you're listening to this in the morning, is probably already up over at thewolverine.com. Check that out. $1 for a week. Try us out. It's $1. If you hit me up on Twitter and you say, hey, I signed up, send me a screenshot, I'll Venmo you $1. Holiday spirit, that sort of thing. So it's basically free. Try us out over at thewolverine.com right now. If you don't like it, you cancel after a week, but we're going to have some great content here this week. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan basketball in Vegas. Exciting times, the best week of the year. We'll see you over at thewolverine.com, and we'll see you next time.